Okay, so here's the card that we will be recreating today. I'm only going to change a few things. The layout will stay the same, but I am going to change a few of the colors. This is a 5x7 card, and I usually make A2 size cards, which are 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, but I thought, well, I have my Gina K Designs Master Layouts 8 die set that I haven't used. So a goal in 2024 is to use products that I have purchased, but filed them away and never really had a chance to touch them. So before I start purchasing more products this year, I definitely want to at least pull out some of the purchases I've made and create something with them. So the first thing that we're going to do is stamp our background. I have a piece of Gina K Designs Kraft cardstock. It was 8 1/2 by 11, and I cut it in half. And I will be using the Simon Says Stamp XL Love Greeting stamp set. It is a 6x8 stamp set, and I really like how they have already arranged the sentiments on the carrier sheet. So instead of pulling off all the stamps and trying to line them up in my Misti, I'm actually going to keep them here. We're going to tape the carrier sheet to our Misti and stamp on our Kraft cardstock. In my Misti, I do have my sticky mat. So I'm taking off the protective sheet to my sticky mat. I'm going to place my cardstock right here, and I am going to open up my stamp, and I'm just going to place it right down on my card panel. Okay. I am just going to tape this so it's out of the way. You don't need to tape this, it could just flap forward, but it's going to help me pick up the actual stamp set. And then using some painter's tape, I'm going to tape down my stamp or stamps, right? Is that still lined up? I believe that's still lined up where I want it. There's a lip around the stamp that you can tape down, and it won't interfere when you're stamping. Let me make sure that's still lining up. And it is. Okay, perfect. I'm just going to tape down the sides so it does not shift. Now I have already conditioned my stamp because I've created our first card, but if this was a brand new stamp set, all you would need to do is to condition them is run your hand across the stamps. You'll know they're conditioned when they go from shiny because they have a film over them, but they'll turn cloudy when they're ready to be stamped. You don't have to put this much tape down. My first card, all I did was tape the sides and the bottom, but I have a feeling since I'm filming, I'm just going to use extra tape, but you don't need to. Okay, so does that line up still? Yes. Yes, it does. I will be using Gina K Designs Amalgam Ink in the color Whisper. And I felt that this was the perfect color to get kind of that watermark look. And then we're gonna go ahead and enhance that using clear embossing powder once we've stamped our first layer of stamp image. So let's go ahead and ink everything up. Using your Misti is super helpful in this process. Since everything's already lined up, we don't have to make sure anything's straight because it's already done for you. So this is probably where you don't need to tape this down if you're going to use a stamping tool to help press everything down. Again, I didn't tape that down the first time I made this card, so I think we're going to be all right. Okay, so we're going to go stamp that again, ink everything up. Now, I didn't need to use the Whisper color. I could have just used clear embossing powder with Watermark ink or any clear sticky ink and just embossed all the sentiments, but I really like this color, the Whisper ink. It's not too dark, not too light. It's the perfect Watermark look ink. It's also really good for no line coloring, but I haven't been that brave yet, so one of these days. Okay. Make sure I get everywhere. It's a very large surface. Right here. Do some extra pressing. Let's see. I feel like we can maybe do some here. Add some extra inking. It doesn't have to be too perfect because we are gonna cut this down, but I think I'm gonna go right here in the middle. And maybe some, oh, wrong side, here. Okay. Give it a little CPR. Oh yeah, much better. Okay, so let's cover our ink pad. And last time, I believe I did let this dry because, again, I wasn't sure how far this was gonna dry back, or how much it was gonna dry back. So before I did the clear embossing powder, I did wait, but I do know what it's gonna do. So I'm gonna go ahead and just stamp my clear embossing powder so that way we can heat emboss. Before you do, of course, since we're heat embossing, we are going to prep our cardstock using a anti-static powder tool. We're gonna go ahead and cover our entire panel. Again, this is a big surface, so I want to make sure I have enough powder everywhere. Grab I'm going to use my Watermark. Again, you can use any clear sticky ink. Simon Says Stamp has one, Gina K Designs has one. Pretty sure all of the great crafty brands has a clear sticky ink. But before I open mine, I am going to get through my Watermark ink pads so I don't have a bunch of clear sticky ink pads open. Okay, looks good. Let's do another round. Okay. Again, I am doing kind of like a little bit of a CPR stamping just because there's a lot of stamps that I'm stamping at once. So I'm trying to get pressure everywhere. Then evenly spread that pressure out. I think, do I have clear sticky ink? Maybe right here in the Your Hugs. I'm gonna try it one more time. I mean, it doesn't need to be too perfect because, again, you're going to be cutting this down and the center is going to be covered up anyways, but since I'm doing it, I might as well make sure I get a good impression everywhere. Okay. Oh yeah. Look at that. I can kind of, I know you can't see on camera, but I can kind of see a sheen from this clear sticky ink. So I know, pretty sure I have everywhere covered. Okay. So I'm gonna remove our cardstock. And the best way to remove your card panel is to actually fold the sticky mat away from your cardstock. And that way you don't get any wrinkles or creases or don't accidentally tear your panel when removing it from the sticky mat. Okay, so let's just move this off to the side and we will take care of that later. Bring this back in. Oh, this will work. I like to fold a crease in it because it'll help funnel the extra powder. Okay. Now we're just going to cover our entire panel with clear embossing powder. Again, this is a large panel, so I'll probably have to tap it off, add it back into my container, and then pour the rest on the upper half. Around and cover the rest. Ooh. This is kind of the other reason why I usually don't do 5x7s. It's just hard to maneuver everything. Okay. If you have embossing powder in places you don't want, you can take a dry paintbrush to knock off those areas, but I think we're okay. Yeah. Okay, so let me funnel my powder. Oop, this time I did not do such a very good job of keeping that contained, but that's okay. All right, let me move that off to the side. Now that that's done, I'm gonna use my Master Layouts 8 from Gina K Designs. I love these, they're amazing. They take all the guesswork out and they always give you a nice border, layering border. We are going to use the die that has the stitching on the edges to cut out our panel. The one that does not have the stitching edges will be our layering piece. So now I just need to decide where I want to cut out. I really like this sentiment, but I feel like if I get most of that in, then I cut off the love you, and I really like the love you. So I think I'm gonna have to. Okay, you know what? I'm just going to put this down, otherwise I will think about that for far too long. Okay. I don't know how I got hair in there. Perfect. That turned out cute. Back as my layering piece. Okay, perfect. This, see how using both the dies together, you get that perfect edge. Oh, that looks good. Okay. I went ahead and used the word Outline Love from Simon Says Stamp. It comes with the word love and the shadow. We won't be using the shadow, we're just going to use the word love. And what I'm talking about is the love. Now I cut out 4. You don't need to because 2 of them will be covered up. However, I kind of like the little peekaboo coming out the sides, so I'm not seeing the entire sentiment, but like I said, when I'm looking at this, even through the vellum, you can kind of see the 2 love words. So again, you could either opt to leave them off or add them. I went ahead and, like I said, I cut out 4 of the word love from Tim Holtz Metallic Cardstock. On our first card, I used gold metallic cardstock, which I believe that was actually from Altenew, but for the red, I used the Tim Holtz Ideology, I believe it is, metallic cardstock. So let's move that to the side. And let's bring in our panel. And so the way, let's zoom in a little bit. The way that I arranged my words is I started with the upper corner because I wanted to visually see how I wanted this to lay out. That looked great for me. And the way that I thought looked best was having the love in the upper right-hand corner and the lower left-hand corner. So I started with the 2 corners, the upper and lower first. I felt like it was easier to place these 2 first so that way I can line up my centers, the center words. And so the way that I'm doing is I'm staggering them. So since the lower left, the one in the lower left corner is down here, then I'm going to move the next one up to the little bit higher to the right. And then the next one will be a little bit higher to the left, followed by the love in the upper right hand corner. And so that's kind of how I liked the layout of the word love. I'm going to use my Connect glue in a fine tip applicator bottle because this is a very thin die. Oh, it looks like I forgot to punch her word out here. I forgot to weed out that. Did I miss the other ones? I did not. Okay, I actually want to change these. And what I love about the fine tip applicator bottle is I can really get a thin line of glue along the edges of this word. You could use double-sided adhesive sheets before cutting out the word, and then essentially what that does is it turns it into a sticker, and then you don't have to do this, but I don't mind. Oops. I think another thing you can use too is, I believe it's called a Xyron sticker maker, a little handy machine that is basically kind of the same as double-sided adhesive sheets, except for you do your die cutting first, and then you stick it in the little machine, and that's what puts the back of the word, or adhesive on the back of the word. You could also use spray glue, but I don't, things like that just don't, they're not for me. Then I have to inhale it or go outside and use a mask, and I just don't have time for that. So I'm going to place my first word here. Okay. And then let's do the bottom one. Oops, that's a lot. Okay. So we're gonna add some glue. I don't know about you guys, but it is still super rainy here in California. My poor plants, they went from, hey, I need water, to this is way too much water. So I do hope they survive. We do need the water, but sometimes I'm like, okay, I've had enough water. Thank you. All right. Oops. Yeah, I put way too much glue right here, but that's okay. We can take a microfiber cloth and kind of wipe up some of that excess glue. The nice part about this glue is it does dry clear, so it's not going to leave or stay white. It goes on white but dries clear. Now, if you have a hard time with your letters and lining them up, another thing you can do is save the negative of the die cut. Put the negative in where you want the word to be, and then basically inlay the word, and then pull the negative off, and then that way your words are perfectly straight. I could have done that, but I threw my negative pieces away, and that's okay. This works. Okay. You could use reverse tweezers if you don't like getting glue on your hand, but I don't mind. All right, so we will stick this one right here, right above the, ooh, this one, send. Actually, I want that a little bit higher. nice part about liquid glue too is it kind of gives you a little bit of a wiggle room to make sure everything is lined up. Again, because I squeezed out a little bit too much glue, I'm going to use my microfiber cloth to kind of wipe up some of that excess glue that's seeping out. You could also use your T-square ruler to make sure that your words are lined up straight. But I'm not worried about it. Okay. There you go. Another thing I could do is kind of tap off some of those drops to kind of smooth them out, help with the oozing of the extra glue. And we will stick that right here. All right. Now you can choose to leave the center of the O out, but I think it completes the word, bringing the center of the O back in. So I'm gonna add that. And then after I'm done adhering everything, I'm going to take an acrylic block or anything that's heavy, paperweight, and I'm going to stick it on top to just kind of make sure everything is fully adhered down. And it gives the glue time to set. That looks slightly off, but doesn't need to be perfect. Where did that go? Oh, I never picked it up. I thought I did. All right. And last one. Down here. Oh yeah. Ooh, that red, that pop of red is just really bold. That's okay, I really like it. Where is my acrylic block? Okay. Oop, not quite big enough, but it'll do. I did want to mention, I know it's a little behind, but the stamp set does come with coordinating dies that are sold separately. But yeah, there they are. Ulta New Kraft a Flower Lily Layering Die Set. To create our flowers, it's nice because it does show you down at the bottom how to, get that out of there, how to assemble the flower. They're super easy, super straightforward to put together, and like I said, they give you a diagram of how everything comes together. So I already pre-cut my lilies. So let's assemble our pink one since I do have everything cut out. Just kind of weed the insides, weed out the insides. All right, the cardstock that I'm using is from Gina K Designs. Really, that's the only colored cardstock I have is Gina's. I do have some of Simon Says Stamps cardstock, but the only cardstock I have is if it comes in their monthly kit. And then I just hoard those in their zipper pouches. I don't think I've used a Simon Says Stamp cardstock color yet because I only have the one sheet. So I believe this color is Dusty Rose. This one is Passionate Pink. And then the center of the flower, I used the Tim Holtz Ideology metallic cardstock. Actually, make sure. I know this is Passionate Pink for sure. I believe that is Dusty Rose. I'm pretty sure it's Dusty Rose. Or maybe it isn't Dusty Rose. It's this one. Oh, it is Dusty Rose. Okay, yep, I was right. This is Dusty Rose. So the first layer will be the Dusty Rose. And again, I'm just following the packaging. And that tells me which layer goes down first. Okay, and then we're gonna add the Passionate Pink. You could use your tweezers to hang on to these pieces, and sometimes I do, but I will say I don't feel like I have mastered my tweezers. I still feel like I'm a little clunky, so I don't mind getting glue on my fingers. Okay, this one I believe slides down like that. These pieces go here. Okay. I will add the center of the flower. Okay. This goes right here. Oh, that's really cute. Really pretty. It's called, those aren't stems. Oh, I don't remember what they're called. Which is funny because I love flowers and I am drawing a blank. I did cut two pieces. So one I used cardstock, and then I also cut glitter cardstock, but the glitter paper for me is super thin. It's not actually cardstock, it's just glitter paper, and I wanted it to have some stability. So I did cut out another piece out of cardstock, and then I'm gonna layer them. So that way it's not super flimsy. Okay. Add some liquid glue, and we will place that right on top. I believe this one, oop. There we go. How cute is that? Adorable. I love lilies. They are super strong smelling, and I think I'm actually starting to become allergic to them, but I feel like lilies are so pretty. Here we go. There we go. Isn't she pretty? Let me add here this layer first, and then I will show you how I created my own custom cardstock color. We will line these up. It is Wild Lilac. That's what it is, Wild Lilac. Good thing I checked. But again, I would double check anyways before posting everything down below. Wild Lilac. Okay, so the color that I want to use that I don't have is the dark lilac. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find my dye ink, my dark lilac dye ink. Here we go. I probably need to re-ink this cube, but we'll see how much is left. And if I need to, I will bust out the re-inker. So I just cut a scrap piece of cardstock, one that's gonna perfectly fit the die cut because I don't want to waste a full sheet. And this is how I'm going to create that color. I'm literally just gonna take the ink pad and I am just going to swipe the color on this cardstock, just like this. And this is how I create cardstock colors that I don't have. It's like how I customize that. Okay, I'm getting it all over my finger though. So the dye ink is nice because it absorbs into the cardstock fairly quickly, so it doesn't stay wet for very long. Now, the more ink you put down, the longer it will take to dry, but it's pretty instant. Okay, there you go. See, that's a little saturated. So I'm gonna give that a second. Normally I would wait for this to dry a little bit more because you can tell because the cardstock is a little bit on the softer side. As it dries, it, you know, thickens up a little bit, but since we are filming, we're just gonna go for it. But that tape is not gonna stick because it's still wet. Sidekick. All my scrap pieces of tape tend to go on my sidekick. Thanks, buddy, for holding my tape. That through, back. Make sure that cuts, and it did. Perfect. Good job, little guy. You do want to be careful with dye inks, at least with Gina K Designs dye inks, because they are water reactive. So just keep that in mind when you're using liquid glue to adhere this piece down. Okay. This one I will use my tweezers. All right. Okay. It is best to let it fully dry, but for the sake of the video, we're just going for it. Okay. That looks great. Again, this is the Ideology metallic cardstock. Okay. And I'm going to do the same thing and layer the inside of the flower. It's also nice because it kind of adds to the dimension of the flower. Really makes the flowers stand out. We can go ahead and glue these ones down. Ooh, I really like this purple flower. I cut out the first layer out of Christmas Pine cardstock from Gina K Designs, and then I just had some glitter paper in my scrap bin. And I'm going to use that as the layering piece. So this one will fit right on top like this. Okay, let's glue that down. Just following the packaging. It's hard to have the packaging on screen and show you guys, so just know that's what I'm doing, just following the directions. And I'm missing one other, oh, here it is. Okay, because I'm going to use 2 of these ones. And then before I glue them down, I do like to try to figure out the placement to make sure everything is right, which I believe goes, no, it doesn't go that way. It goes, oh, it goes this way. Okay. Okay. There we go. Looks great. And the second one. Nope. Goes this way. Here we go. Perfect. Awesome. Okay, so those are done. So I did cut out using the circle die from the Master Layouts 8. There comes a circle die in it, and I used it because I thought it was the perfect size, and cut a piece of vellum, and that's what's going to go over our background. It was nice because, like I said, you still have the peekaboo of the word love, and it also didn't take away our background, our stamped background either. So nice because the flowers will help us hide the adhesive that we need to adhere the vellum to. So now I just need to figure out my placement. And I think like that. Then our stems. Now I did cut our stems out like I said earlier, and I did, they are a lot longer than this, but because I knew I was going to cut them off anyways, I just used some scratch paper to cut out the stem. So add some glue. To our flower. I will use my tweezers to hold that in place. Actually, let's bring that up just a hair. Yeah. Okay. And then we'll do the same for the pink one. It's always handy to have a few pair of tweezers in your craft room. It's like having more hands. All right. We'll hold that down, give that a second to set. And then how do I want this? I think we're gonna layer them like that. Do we like that? And then I think we're gonna have the bigger leaf come up this way. Actually, I need to make sure this is high enough so we can add the bigger leaf down here and make sure it fits. And I'm making sure that the curve of the leaf lines up with the curve of the vellum. That's how I know it's gonna fit. See, I do like the way that these are, so let's glue these down first. So I'm gonna hold this, I'm gonna pick them up, and then I'm going to have everything pinched together with my fingers, and I am going to peel the vellum back, and then I'm gonna add glue because I really like the placement of these flowers and I don't want that to move. So I'm gonna add glue to the first one. Actually, I want that to hold, and then I'm gonna do the same thing for the purple flower. Peel that vellum back and then add my glue. All right. Give that a second for the glue to set. And where the flowers overlap right here, because the flowers are touching each other, it kind of gives it a little bit of dimension, as you can see. And so the glue is not going to allow it to stay down. I mean, if I put a lot of glue and then probably held something heavy on top, it might, but what I did is I took very thin foam squares, cut them in half, slid them underneath the petals, and then that way I know that they're going to stay down, and then it still gives that little bit of pop of dimension too. So we'll do that, but we'll do that after everything has been adhered. I do like that, but then what am I going to do with this little guy? How do I want him? I think I want him like this. And we are going to, so let's glue, actually, you know what? I need to poke him through somehow. Maybe I do need to lift him up just a little bit so we can slide. Which way do I want this? There, do I want it? I think I want to slide it down. Kind of want to tuck this under here, but I feel like we've got some stuff in the way. So let's cut this off. Let's lift this petal. Slide him in there. I'm going to pick this flower up, slide this leaf underneath. All right, and then this one, I kind of like that sticking out right there. So I'm going to glue him down. And at this point, again, it's all personal preference, however you want to build your scene, and that's essentially what we're doing. We're just building our scene. So you can definitely place your flowers however you like. Whatever looks good to you. Right. This one will go right there. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so we're gonna use our tweezers for a minute to clamp this down, and then let me grab my 3D foam squares. I love these. These are amazing. love them because it's super easy to take the backer off of them too. So we're gonna use my tweezers to wedge that in there. Okay. And then I know I put another piece. Let me see. Oh, it was this petal. But you know what? I put another piece on this petal on the original card, but you know, it is actually sticking down really well. So I think I'm gonna skip it. I don't think we need it. I think we'll need it under here this time. And that's okay. Every card is a little bit different. Even though the design might be the same, sometimes the outcome is a little different. So pinch that together and I will wedge that right under here. Making sure you can't see it, which I think is right there. Perfect. Stick that down. Oh, it's coming together. I love it. Okay. And so we're not going to leave this because that's just messy. What I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it over so I can see where the curve of the vellum is, and that's where I'm going to snip all the excess that's hanging over. Perfect. Look at that. Cute. It is coming together. Panel. And this is where it's going to go, right here. All right. And this is the nice part of having the flowers over the vellum, is that's where we're going to add our adhesive, and that's what's going to hide the adhesive to make sure it's not showing when we're looking at the design. And place that right about here. Hold on, I need to make sure that's straight. And you'll be able to tell if it's straight based off of the leaves. That's what is going to help me make sure everything is good. All right. Do I have even margins on each side? I do. So we have a lot of layers on this card. Whoa. Okay. So while that is setting, let's move that to the side. So what did I do with our layering piece? I cut it out and now I gotta try to figure out where I put it. Is this it? It must be, it's quite large. Oop. Okay. Okay, and then we're going to glue all of our panels to our card base, which again measures 5 by 7. That'll go right on top. with some embellishments. I will be using the Gina K Designs heart embellishments. And let's see, what are we gonna do? I really liked the look of having the black hearts inside of the O. So we'll do one there, and we'll do another one down here. And I don't know, ooh, maybe instead of doing white to tie in the red, we can use red hearts instead. Let's see. Will I like that? Do we like that? Let's see. Here, let me see if I can bring in the original. So now that we're doing the embellishments, can I get them both in here? It's the hard part about 5x7s. They just take up so much space. Okay, so I definitely like the black hearts inside of the word love. So I'll put a dot there. And I really like this look. I don't know why, but I do, which also will tie to our layering piece. That kind of brings in the black. Okay. I love these little heart confettis. I never thought that I would be the type to really like, oops, heart embellishments, but for some reason I have been on a heart embellishment kick. Sorry, this one's fighting me because it's not flat. It actually has a little bit of a curve to it, so once that glue sits, it'll be okay. You know what, I don't like the way this one looks, so I'm gonna actually trade him out. Sorry, you are gonna be benched. We'll bring in a backup heart. I need one that's more flat and doesn't have a curve to it. This one. Okay, perfect. There we go. So here is where do we bring in the white hearts or the red hearts? And I think I'm going to do the red so I can tie in the red from the love. Ooh, words are hard today, Jillian, huh? My goodness. Put one there, put one there. And apparently crafting is too. What is going on? Okay. And where, yes, I think we're going to stick with the red and not the white this time. But where should I put the third one? Should we tuck him here? Do I like him right here? I don't want them going the same direction. Yeah, I think so. I think that's what we'll do. Oh, I like that. Okay. That's how we're going to bring in the red. Make sure everything ties together. There you go. Boopy. I'll put one right here. And I don't know, do I like, whoops. Do I want him there? Do I want him down here? Do I want him here? No, I want him right here. I liked it right here, that's fine. There we go. Oh, how cute. These came out great. I love it. Simple, but large. Cute. Same card design, but just by changing up the colors, they're not exactly the same. Here is our finished card project. Here is the one that I had done earlier off screen that inspired me to recreate this one, just using a few different colors. And that will complete today's card project. Thank you so much for sticking with me. I know this video was a little bit longer. I just want to say thank you so much for watching. I would love it if you could please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. It really helps. And to all my existing subscribers, thank you so much for continuing to support me and my channel. Until the next video, I will see you next time. Bye.